Now, the South Plains first news in high definition. This is KCBD News Channel 11 at 10.
Our main concern is the safety and welfare of the children.
CPS speaks out about the young toddler shot by his brother. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Karen is off tonight. Tonight, the 4-year-old Lubbock boy accidentally shot in the stomach by his 5-year-old brother is doing better, and hospital officials say he has improved to fair condition and is expected to live. KCBD News Channel 11's Tiffany Pelt is live at the hospital with the very latest. Tiffany?
Abner, we first broke the news Saturday when the boy was rushed here with life-threatening injuries, but just after 2 days and after 2 surgeries, doctors say that he will pull through. But in the meantime, Child Protective Services is investigating the family because of the shooting.
Police say Justin Jones, a Lubbock Sheriff's deputy working as a jailer, was asleep at his home on the 2200 block of 93rd Place. That's when his 5-year-old son climbed to the top of the closet, getting his work-issued gun, and accidentally fired it, shooting his 4-year-old brother. And because of the shooting, CPS is investigating for negligent supervision.
The good news is that he is expected to live. We'll interview anybody who was at the house at the time, including the children, the parents, anybody who knows anything about what was going on.
And while CPS can't release detailed information, they did tell us that this is the 3rd time the Jones family has been investigated for negligence.
In March of 2009, we investigated with allegations of neglect, ruled out. We also investigated in January of this year with allegations of neglect, unable to determine. That's what we ruled. Basically, there wasn't enough evidence to determine if the neglect had occurred or had not occurred.
During the last investigation, there were also abuse allegations, but those too were ruled out.
Is it uncommon for a family to be investigated multiple times by CPS?
It happens. Sometimes there's just concerns about, it might be a neighbor, it might be a family member who might have some concerns about possible abuse, neglect going on in the home. Those concerns are valid and sometimes they're not.
Family members told us the other 2 boys, a 5 and a 3-year-old, were voluntarily released to the mother's parents to stay in the meantime.
And while CPS is doing their own investigation, Lubbock Police Department is also doing an investigation. No charges have been filed yet, but the parents could face a charge of making a firearm accessible to a minor. Abner?
Thank you very much, Tiffany. Martin County investigators are on the search tonight for a murder suspect they believe is in La Mesa. Deputies are looking for 36-year-old Jose Americo Garcia. They believe Garcia shot and killed 32-year-old Anao Rodriguez Villagrano Sunday morning in the town of Grady. They believe he's in the La Mesa area with his wife and 2 children. He was last seen in a black 1999 Suburban. If you have any information, you're asked to call Martin County authorities at 432-756-3336. And a police chase ended dramatically in Sweetwater this past Saturday as a man was shot and killed by officers. According to Abilene station KTXS, 33-year-old Jesse Daniel Torres was chased after he stole a white Ford 350 at gunpoint. Authorities attempted to stop Torres as the chase entered Sweetwater, but he was able to dodge the spike strips. Several blocks into town, he pulled into a parking lot. According to police, Torres jumped out of the car with his hand under his shirt. He jumped into a Sweetwater officer's car, and that's when police and troopers opened fire, killing Torres. Investigators have not said if Torres was carrying a gun. All officers and troopers directly involved have been placed on administrative leave, which is standard procedure. The city of Lubbock lost a huge battle in its ongoing legal campaign against businessman Ted Parker. From 2004 through early 2007, Parker's company, AAG, was the city's health insurance administrator. The city sued the company, claiming that Parker owed taxpayers a refund. He denied ever taking any of the city's money, although he did admit that doctors, hospitals, and clinics were sometimes overpaid. Parker countersued the city, and there was a series of lawsuits back and forth. Those lawsuits were filed in Lubbock, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin. Tonight, we're learning that the city of Lubbock lost one such lawsuit in Tarrant County. A judge ruled that the city cannot hold Ted Parker personally responsible. A source tells KCBD News Channel 11 that the ruling could impact other lawsuits ongoing. And the big fundraiser for the Snyder police officer who was shot in the line of duty was this past weekend, and the event took place at the Coliseum in Snyder for 3 days. Several musical acts played the event to raise money for Officer Darrell Campbell's medical bills. The event netted just around $6,500. The drought across Texas is showing no signs of letting up anytime soon, and today Lubbock County Commissioners decided to extend the county's burn ban. The ban will be extended another 90 days. Most counties in Texas have burn bans in effect as well. The only counties in the state without burn bans are Jefferson, Orange, Willesee, and Zapata. The previous burn ban record was back in 2006 with 221 counties included. So far, the drought has caused a record $5.2 billion in ag losses. And the only thing that could end this drought, of course, is precipitation. John joined us from the First Alert Forecast Center to tell us if there's any in sight. John?
Well, Abner, we're trying to see if that pattern is going to change, and we still have that upper-level high pressure. It's been dominant today. In fact, it'll increase its grip over us tomorrow and the next day with temperatures edging closer to 100 degrees. In fact, we could be close to a record of 101 tomorrow, maybe even the next day. But I do think things begin to change a little bit as we get into the latter part of the week, and hopefully by early next week we'll see more changes, allowing temperatures to edge back down and maybe some rain chance increase as well. Not much in the way of rain, though, and at Super Doppler HD3. Showers have been very isolated up in New Mexico. A few of that clusters now moving into northwest Texas Panhandle, but not really as much monsoon moisture as you would typically expect this time of year, especially over New Mexico and Colorado. A couple of showers in the Panhandle, that is it. Temperatures tonight are very warm. A few areas that were at 100 or higher today are still in the 90s tonight. That's primarily our northeastern areas, Spur, Paducah, Guthrie, Matador, and Turkey coming up at 90 to 94 degrees. Mid-80s here in Lubbock. It's been a pleasant evening overall. I think we've got a nice morning starting up, some heat coming up at noon, and then tomorrow afternoon, Abner, we're going to go in for 98, but I wouldn't be surprised if we bump up to 100 degrees tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, and then some relief.
Wouldn't be surprised this year, John.
I know.
Could happen any time. Thanks. With South Plains students back in class, drivers should have noticed the flashing yellow lights for school zone safety. KCBD News Channel 11's Michael Slaughter joins us now with more on how well people obeyed the laws in school zones this afternoon. Michael?
Well, Abner, we took our cameras to 4 different Lubbock ISD school zones today as they dismissed students, and we caught at least 5 drivers on their phones in every zone we went to. Campuses like Lubbock High and Smiley Wilson off of major roads had more violators, but even smaller schools had their share of people on their phones while they waited in traffic. And LPD wants to remind folks that it doesn't matter how fast you're driving. If you're caught talking or texting inside a marked school zone, you can be fined up to $200. As the final bell rung and school let out Monday afternoon, Lubbock drivers got their first test of the school year.
With school starting, the school zones are being monitored, and we have had officers who have been out at several of the different school zones just keep an eye on things.
We did see officers on the lookout, but in 20 minutes at Smiley Wilson Middle School, we caught 14 people using their phones, including a city employee. At Lubbock High, we found dozens more on their phones, even as our cameras were rolling. Whether you're driving or stopped at a stop sign, if you're inside the flashing school zone, your phone should be outside your hand.
That it is illegal to be using your cell phone without a hands-free in an active school zone.
Lubbock ISD says at elementary schools, flashing lights are activated an hour before and after school starts and ends. And at district middle and high schools, drivers should expect the same flashing reminders 30 minutes before and after school starts and ends. So slow down, put down your phone, and be on the lookout for kids because police will be watching too.
LISD normally has their hands full actually dealing with the students and stuff that's actually going on campus. So as far as the streets go, normally we'll have officers who will monitor what's going on the actual streets.
Now, as we said earlier, those lights are activated before and after school, but that all depends on what time your school starts. We have a full bell schedule right now online at kcbd.com. Abner?
Thank you very much, Michael. And while most of the younger students were heading off to school, many of the Lubbock's young adults were getting ready for college. Thousands of Texas Tech students are moving into their new on-campus homes this week. The dorms at Tech open over the weekend. More than 6,500 Red Raiders will call the dorms home over the next year. Classes for Tech students start this Thursday. And